Well, good evening, everyone. We got our next race here in the USA Trucks on tap, this time at Sonoma with the West Coast division of the USA Trucks. And it'll be the 19Crimes brought to you by Snoop Dogg. 136 here at Sonoma for a total of 68 laps. Looking like Tim Cording, who had a dominant performance last night. His brother Tom Cording starting on the pole tonight, so perhaps maybe some brotherly team-uppance here going on, where we might see the brothers Cording have a good showing in both road course races this week. Second to that, we got Kyler Sustre on the front row. Then we've got Chris Harvey and Bella Fawn, Brian DeBlanc and Philip Leeds, John Hagan and Justin Roman, Matthew Fastnot, and last week's winner, Trevor Walker. Then we've got Cash Cash and the 14 of Adam Starr, Monty Shangle and Dalton Scott, Gavin Gray and Krista Cower, Tashi Gupta and Roach, Alan Chavot, I got it, Chavot, and the 61 of Josh Gaiman, Andrew Moger and Nate Newman, Craig Popchris and Paula Ladino, Lotus King and Brandon Proudfoot in the 58 here today, Anheuser Wagner and Dave Steele, Silas Huddleston and Luis Rodriguez, Quinn Ryan and the 26 of Jamison Thole, Lucas Holmes and Chasey Plays, Jacob Shangle and Kat Durham, Gavin Legend and William Kinsella Jr., Josh Drake alongside Al Bunch. Al Bunch had a little bit of a adjustment to his schedule. He'll actually be in this 15 truck for the next two races, whereas it would have been split up between him and What Army. So we've got Al Bunch here this week, and then Al Bunch in a couple weeks for the next West Coast race. And then Daniel Paulus and Luke taking up the rear of the field. And we got, so back-to-back nights now. We got the Cordings dominating qualifying. So Cording on pole both races in 2 nights' time.
You got me? Yeah, you got a copy? Yeah, where are y'all at here? If you're looking at the start-finish line, look left. And before there's so many people on the roof, I can't tell you. Baby. Go ahead. Matt Kendra said you look good in green.
Here we go. Green flag waves, and they're off and running. Going into turn 1 here. Looks like Tom Cording's going to stretch it out here, going into the very technical part of Sonoma. Pace truck coming back out on track already, so did we have a caution? Something weird went on there. Man, what was the caution for? This is really early to get back in on track. The pace truck never even pulls down pit road. It turns its lights right back on before Oh, there we go. That would do it. Seems that Al Bunch was partially involved in this. He just got flat turned by Luke there. So we couldn't even get one lap underway before we got chaos hitting the track here tonight. Even weirder that they were almost 3 wide at points of the track there. The 89 looks like might have the harder of the damage. Well, hopefully that's the extent of the chaos for tonight. Don't know what we're on pace here for. Hopefully it's not a wreck fest. So Tom Cording gets to lead the first lap and is continuing to lead under caution here, as very likely not anyone's really going to come down pit road here on lap 2. After tonight's race, there will be a little bit of shifting around. We've got some newcomers in the series, and there's a few drivers that ended up in the wrong division. So how it's going to work out is there's going to be an even swap of drivers from one division to the other. And for the most part, it'll be drivers that have not yet won a race. And they will inherit, well, they'll switch divisions, and I'm trying to figure if I should let them inherit their teammate counterpart on one side or when they flip. So for example, if someone on the east is 15th in the points and the other driver in the other division is 30th, the two drivers will flip-flop, and the guy that was 30th in points in one will become 15th in the other. But the main goal of this would be, I mean, obviously the driver is the same. It's not like the driver's changing their stats. So it'll give some of the other drivers that are having maybe a harder time a slight boost. And it really doesn't change the whole atmosphere of everything, because it's still going to be a win to get in to the finale, the championship, when they combine up the East and the West. So still trying to kind of at least measure out the fairness of that, because it really is not fair. We'll see how, if similar drivers are in similar position, that maybe they'll inherit their points from the one jumping over to the other kind of thing. So just some slight housekeeping. which that was the big news. It's kind of hard to sum it up in text, and it's even somewhat hard to sum it up when you're speaking about it, but it'll all make sense. In all fairness, I'm going to try to make it fair without making it too weird. So here we go. Hopefully we can actually get going green here. So you can see they're doubled up. The accordion effect gets kind of tight at the back of the field. And we're clear through turn 1. So rolling off. Ooh, and they're wrecking again. Didn't take long there. So it's going to be about 1 lap at a time, wrecking every way. If only they could get stretched out and running here. They look like they could be very competitive at racing around Sonoma here under the lights. We got a change for the lead as Kyler Sestre takes the lead away from Tom Cording. So we're keeping the chaos meter pegged to 100 here tonight, as only 4 laps have been completed, and we've already had 2 cautions here tonight at Sonoma. I'm going to have to get clever at filling empty airtime here between every caution break that we get. Impressively, we got 2 Chevys running towards the front of the field here. The 88 of John Hagan and the 85 of Brian DeBlanc. They have definitely been the outlier when it comes to the struggles with Chevy. These two could potentially give Chevy what they want the most, a trip to victory lane. You can't count out the Hondas towards the front of the field here either. When you've got the 12 of Chris Harvey, the 32 of Bellafon, those are 2 strong contenders early on in the running with the Honda power plant. The nice part with the road course, we only get 1 lap under. When we go to caution, we only get 1 lap, and then the pace lights turn out halfway into the next lap. So really, only 2 laps under caution for each caution period, which is seemingly better than at most ovals when it's about 4 to 5 laps before they go back green. No retirements. Everyone's still running. Few trucks at the back of the field, a little bit rougher for the wear. Some new names in the series. You got Brandon Proudfoot here, driving the TSI Chevy. Oh, Paulo Ladino having a mechanical failure from 24th. It looks like a pretty severe engine penalty. That engine has expired for the number 94 of Paulo Ladino. Based on the percentage there, I think this will be a retirement for the 94. Yep. And now we can look on the radar here. It was a piston failure for the number 94. Double file restarts is probably going to be the cause of all the commotion here tonight, as we just need them to kind of single file out and try to get some laps run. Every time they double up, it's only going to increase the chance of another caution to come out here tonight. At least we have seen a pass for the lead, change of position for the 24 and the 90. Since we've completed 6 laps, I'm going to add green-white checkers, which might be a mistake. I may regret that, because this race could potentially have infinite restarts, and then we would be in trouble. So it's probably going to be in our best interest to try and keep an eye on the back of the field on these restarts to make sure that we can even get going. This is the prime problem with being double file all the way through the field, especially once they get around this turn and the green flag waves. There's kind of a it's just kind of chaotic because everyone's at their slowest pace right here and everyone's getting the green flag right now, and they have to try and juggle the fact that they're getting up to speed from the slowest point of the track. So far, so good. And it's a miracle. We make it through the first stage of turns there, and the lights are still off on the pace truck. So here we go. Getting some racing going now. Tom Cording gets his lead back here from Kyler Susray. Wow, you can see those guys in the back of the picture driving it in very wide through that turn. It's always kind of a fun camera spot if you had a camera rolling right there to see how they come so close to hitting that one wall on the downhill turn. Here we go. Yep, we're getting a racing going now. There's a lot of good action shots throughout Sonoma. You'll see these trucks making moves that they don't normally make in a given week. A couple drivers trying to outbrake each other going into this last segment of turns. 22 of Dave Steele making it look interesting. And, you know, you might as well just cover the back end of the field, because there's going to be passing action no matter where the camera points itself here today. Currently looking at Alan Chavot, who's in 19th. Running right behind Roach in the number 6 Twisted Toe entry. Tashi Gupta, Krista Cower, Dalton Scott, Adam Starr, Gavin Gray, Monty Shangle, and here we have our 2 race winners this season on the West Coast. You got Cash in the 07 and Trevor Walker in the 21. Unscheduled pit stop perhaps for the 77 of Justin Roman. Brian DeBlanc up to 6th still. Not half bad. Of course, John Hagan in 5th. Bella Fawn in 4th. A lot of new faces towards the front of the field here, which is nice to see. And then some of the more common suspects with the likes of Chris Harvey, who's always running up towards the front of the field, giving LFG Motorsports a good run here today. Kyler Sestre and Beacon Quantum Motorsports, a team formed by himself, has not been able to prove himself amongst the seasoned veterans of the series, but taken to it like a fish to water. This driver in the number 24 truck, he's going to try to rack up some wins this season. And then, of course, we got Tom Cording, who joined the series late last year with his brother Tim Cording. And we already know that TKM, their garage, churns out some very fast and hard to beat trucks. It's mostly matter of fact how Tim Cording became our champion for the winter 2023 season. And winning last night in style. He dominated last night at Watkins Glen. So perhaps it's his brother Tom's turn to try and follow in those footsteps. One thing is for certain, once they get going here, passing is going to be at a premium. It's often hard to make passes here at Sonoma. When you're at speed, you're making these turns, and the lanes are very, very narrow for these trucks. This right here is a huge spot that they can try to make up some spots if they outbrake each other going into this last turn. But other than that, it's pretty much a sweeping, winding road course where sometimes it just turns into a follow the leader affair. Take a quick glance at the points right now, John Hagen has been solid at the start of the season here. And this is only his third start within the universe here in the NASCAR Truck Series. In only those 3 starts, he's already got himself up into the top 10 in points. And apart from Cash and Trevor Walker, he's only 10 points out from catching Cash and only about 40 points out from catching the points leader, Trevor Walker. Trevor Walker has been pretty hard to beat every week. John Hagen with 1 top 5 on the season. I guess the other one must have been 11th or so, but it seemed really close to a top 10. Trevor Walker, on the other hand, has had 1 win and 2 top 5, so basically a win and a top 5 to start out the season. Hagen here, it's fresh in his early on in the career with the NASCAR Truck Series, but already looking like he's going to be contending for wins here in that 88 Budweiser Chevy. Bella Fawn has had kind of a rough go of it between her starts in the Busch Series, now making a trek here to the Truck Series where she is out of her comfort zone. Has never been able to secure a win in the Busch Series, but with the right power and the right equipment, we could see something good out of her here in the USA Trucks. Chris Harvey had a strong truck at Phoenix last week and had a couple opportunities to seal the deal. He got off strategy and tried an alternate strategy, and that strategy did not pan out the way they hoped it would. There's a lot of moving pieces and probably would have had to have some good luck come his way to actually win the race, but still came home with a 4th at Phoenix. Currently running P3 here tonight. And I think this might be getting interesting for the lead here. As you can see, Kyler Sestre catching up to Tom Cording, flying the colors of Ruby. Let's compare lap times from last lap. The 90 turned a 1:18.6. And last lap, Kyler Sestre turned his fastest lap in the race here. A 1:18.318, which is just a little bit off the fastest time that belongs to Tom Cording right now. One thing is certain, these 3 trucks at the front of the field have definitely broke away from their competitors behind them. So of the folks that have tuned in tonight, who have you seen in the first 6 races of the USA Trucks that you think is going to be the biggest threat for the combined championship at the end of the year? If I had to pick one, and it's so hard to pick just one, I think It's going to be a toss-up between, well, and based only off of stats that we've seen in, 6 races time, which is a very small sample size to go off of. Atlee Weiss has been, a couple strategy calls have kind of kept him from winning a few of the races already this season. But I do believe Atlee is going to be a tough talent to beat. And the one that's really kind of surprising is Trevor Walker here on the East Coast. So Atlee on the West, on the East, my bad. Atlee on the East and Walker on the West. Trevor Walker to be exact, as Jordan Walker's actually on the East Coast. But yeah, no, chime in. Who do you think kind of the surprises, or who you didn't exactly expect to see so strong early on in the running here? I mean, you even got some star talent that could be running like the 24 here of Kyler Sestre. Kind of a surprise, kind of an unknown. The 90 of Tom Cording really hasn't been able to prove himself yet. Only one win to his name. So he'll be fighting for win number 2 here tonight if he can seal the deal. Chris Harvey yet to hit victory lane. And with all the changes in place, having a Honda Ridgeline and the engine package there's no telling how soon or how long it'll take to get to victory lane. Belafon and John Hagan. Then we'll go through the rest of the field here, as most of the positions have yet to change. You still have Brian DeBlanc in 6th, Adam Starr, Matthew Fastnot, Trevor Walker, and Cash, Monty Shangle, Gavin Gray, Adam Starr, Dalton Scott, and Krista Cower. Tashi Gupta, Roach, Alan Chavot, Joshua Gaiman, Andrew Moger, who is one of those drivers I mentioned earlier, will be transitioning from the West Coast over to the East Coast. What it's looking to be, it'll be a lateral move for the JSR team to have the 74 switch places with the 69. And what that'll do is it'll give the 74 a slight boost in the point standings, but he'll have to maintain that position in the point standings. It might be a little bit difficult with the speed that the 74 truck seems to lack here and out. About a mid-pack truck compared to Braden Hunt, who's been hitting top 10 here and there. So the main goal will always still be getting that win. The points really aren't going to mean a whole lot for these drivers that haven't really locked their way in to the combined championship. The other move, looking like it might include the 20 of Gavin Gray, switching with the 9 of Tim Hansen's, well, no longer Tim Hansen in the 9 truck, but the 9 truck will rotate with this 20 truck. It'll put someone that has just joined the server into the West Coast where they decided upon, and that would be the 22 of Alan Malcolm, who will be hopping in the number 22 Trevor Ventures Toyota Tundra here on the West Coast. And to keep it fair, they're going to rotate this truck back to the East Coast. So basically the 9 will change numbers to 22. And we do have Dave Steele in the 22. We're going to have a new number for him going into the next round of races. So even though he's in the race here tonight running 24th, he'll maintain where he stands in the standings, but he'll have a new car number going forward. Well, after the initial set of cautions, we've been able to run solidly for the last 15 laps here without any trouble. Al Bunch having a rough go of it in the 15. Lead starting to stretch out a little bit more here as Tom Cording starts to grow that lead over Kyler Sestre. As of right now, Tom Cording has got off to a somewhat rough start here in the West Division, sitting 15th in the points. Right on top of that, you've got Chris Harvey, who is 14th in points. So two guys that have had a struggle to start the season, looking to capitalize on a good run here tonight. Even the 24 truck, let's see, where is, well, Kyler Sestre is actually pretty high up in the points, sitting in 5th right now. So Sestre has been consistent. He's had one top 5, but his other finishes outside the top 5 must have been solid enough to accumulate more points. One standout is Dalton Scott, who has had 2 top 10s in the first 2 races. And as we see tonight, that's going to be a little bit harder to achieve as he's currently running 14th. So if he can somehow reel in 4 more spots, he could maybe get another top 10 finish here at Sonoma. Currently, top 10 position belongs to Cash Cash, Trevor Walker, Matthew Fastnot, Philip Leeds, Brian DeBlanc, John Hagan, Belafon, who's teammates with Dalton Scott, Chris Harvey, and Sestre with Cording. Tommy Boy here is going to have to deal with some lap traffic. Looks like the 35 of Cat Durham. This could make it interesting for Sustre right behind him to maybe catch up and close that gap. Somewhat impressed so far that we've been able to run clean for about 20 laps straight. The way this race was starting, I did not expect to see this. So it's a good surprise that we've been able to race cleanly here tonight without piling up more cars on the front stretch. There we go. The 24 really closed the gap there, as you can see. The 90 did not get quite the runoff that he wanted going through that last round of turns. Ooh, and getting side by side with Durham, that only slowed him up a little bit more as Durham maintains his lead lap status right now, fighting hard with the leader. That kind of move would merit a blue and yellow flag from the flagman to let you know it's like, hey, this is not for position. You better let these guys by or we might be showing you the black flag sometime. Durham holding on strong here, holding up the pace of the 90 truck. This has allowed the 24 to close up ever so closer to the back bumper. The gap is an extensive one past third place, Chris Harvey. It's now up to 14 seconds separating the leader back to fourth place. This is the closest that Kyler Sestre has been all night, apart from the time that he led a couple laps on the previous restart. But as you can see, giving Tom Cording a fight for his money right here. We've got Ford versus Dodge, and what's likely going to be a battle all the way to the finish here tonight. That's impressive. It seems that Trevor Walker's been making some moves. I think he was about as far back as 10th, now up to 7th here. We'll keep an eye on the 21 here for a few laps and see if he's still making moves for positions. Sure seems like he's a little bit faster than the 85 there in front of him. Fast lap still belongs to Tom Cording. We'll have to see if they get through green flag pit stops, if that might change. But you can see Trevor Walker going wide in some spots, taking an aggressive, different line than the rest of the drivers around him. And that's allowed him to at least make up a couple spots within this restart since lap 5 to 28 now. The 90 of Tom Cording finally gets by the 35 of Cat Durham. So now Sestre fighting the lap traffic here. But in the meantime, Tom Cording kind of driving away from the scene of the crime. It's kind of amazing Trevor Walker winning last week on a short track. He's definitely been a road course ringer here in the USA Trucks, and that shows you why, as he makes a bold move and gets by the 85 of Brian DeBlanc. DeBlanc still fighting side by side with him, but it's going to be hard to maintain that position as Trevor Walker now moves his way up to 7th, rather 6th. So 6th now, and he's got his target set on the 88 of John Hagan. Since the summer championship started, we have not seen a repeat winner yet. And we could potentially see that if Trevor Walker is able to charge through the field here. It's become a little bit harder as Tom Cording is kind of stretching it out right now. But you never know. We might get a caution or two that'll help bring the trucks back together. And it'll just be a battle of the restarts at that point. Who's got the best line, the best position to make it all work on a restart. Trevor catching up to the 88 pretty quickly here. We've seen now the passing zone is that downhill turn before the long technical slot of the track. We'll see if maybe he executes the same move here on John Hagan. Getting close to halfway as we are now 32 of 68. So just a couple laps shy of halfway. And here we go. This will be The moment of truth, if Trevor Walker can outbrake John Hagen going into the turn here. Not this time by, as John Hagen maintains the gap and stays in front. There we go, another pass being made here. Trevor doesn't get to secure the position as John Hagen fights back. Hagen holding on to a top 5 right now. Does not want to relinquish that position quite yet. Gonna make Trevor Walker work for it. Now that we are about halfway through the race, you could see some drivers dipping down pit road to try and basically cut it right down the middle for one stop in the race. The only problem with that is you don't want to pit too early here and cost yourself any potential green-white checker restarts at the end of the race. So there's a bit early for some of these guys based on strategy. Most of your lead pack probably won't come in for a handful more laps. Tom Cording is cruising through lap traffic here, making it look easy, as Sustre struggling to make the same passes that the 90 truck has already executed. It's kind of neat how well timed out the schedule is for the USA trucks compared to real life NASCAR, with the NASCAR guys going to race on a road course this weekend as well. It'll be fun to see SVG back and a couple other newcomers. I think Kobayashi's going to be racing a NASCAR Cup car, so that's pretty interesting. Seems like something you would do in NR 2003, putting a random driver in a field of Cup regulars. It'll be an interesting race at Indianapolis this weekend for sure. Well, one thing is certain. This weekend has been hard to beat the Cording brothers, as Tom Cording now dips down pit road for his scheduled pit stop. Likely to be his only pit stop here tonight at Sonoma. Sestre stays out though, and he's going to get a lead lap. He already led a lap earlier in the race, but back at the front with some more qualified lead laps during this round of green flag pit stops. So this will be interesting to see if waiting longer is going to help or if it's going to hurt that gap from Sestre to Tom Cording. For example, right now, Sestre having to fight with the lap traffic is only slowing him down more. And on the slower tires that he is right now, once Tom Cording comes out, he'll be turning faster laps. So he doesn't want to stay out too much longer. He's probably going to have to pit this time by just to stay within strategy of the leader, Tom Cording. And there you have it. Coming down pit road now is the 24 of Kyler Sestre. Next in line would be John Hagan here, who looks like he's committing to pit road. But Trevor Walker is staying out. So Trevor Walker might very well stay out and get a lead lap based on where the start-finish line is. And it's going to be just a little bit short. Nope, he actually beat Kyler Sestre to the line there. Sestre on pit road was coming really close to touching the start-finish line at the same time as Trevor Walker. So Walker with a lead lap. That's a bonus, some bonus points for him there. And this seems to be a fascinating strategy as well. The fact that he had a truck faster than the rest of the field with bad tires, if he stays out longer and comes down pit road later, he'll have fresher tires with less laps to run on them compared to the drivers that just pitted, who will have an extra lap or an extra 2 laps that they need to run on those tires. Here he comes. Now we've got, looks to be pretty well sorted now, as Tashi Gupta might be the next to come down pit road. There he comes. Roach coming down pit road. And it'll recycle back to Tom Cording in the lead. Tom Cording has stretched out that lead on Kyler Sestre pretty dominantly, as you can see. And now it's going to be Tom Cording back with the lead. Once everything sorts out, the 21 still on pit road. He'll rejoin right behind Kyler Sestre and get past here by no one. It'll be close. Chris Harvey will be right there beside him. But I think Trevor Walker is going to get rolling and net gain 3 spots here. So from 6th to 3rd for Trevor Walker. The big loser in the round of pit stops had to have been Bellafon, who was running 3rd, falls back to 6th. So the ping pong table that is puts Trevor Walker now up to 3rd, where he was running 6th. Actually, Trevor Walker back to 4th as Chris Harvey got by him. And it's going to be tough for anyone to catch up to Tom Cording. Tom Cording putting on a clinic just like his brother Tim. think about it, this will be a storyline too. This round of road courses that we had, not very likely that this was going to happen. I mean, there's so many possibilities and outcomes, but the fact that we have both the Courting brothers looking strong on road courses should be a big scare for the rest of the field, because it means any other road courses that we might end up going to this season, they're going to have to keep their eyes peeled on the number 50 and the number 90, and there might not be a whole lot they can do about it. They're going to have to start hoping for voodoo dolls that'll blow up engines and puncture tires to try and stop these guys. So it's been pretty much follow the leaders so far here in the race tonight. Chavot making up some spots now into 16th. Not bad. Silas Huddleston running mid-pack in 22nd. Adam Starr struggling a little bit, dropped all the way back to 28th right now. And your leader, Tom Cording, by a demanding 9.6 seconds over Kyler Sestre. Even Kyler Sestre is getting closer to the grasps of Chris Harvey in the number 12 truck. As you can see, lap traffic giving Sestre a little bit of trouble here as he is not getting by him very quickly. Without any form of caution, this race looking very, very much likely to be as it is right now. Very hard to pass, and a lot of your drivers running about where they are right now to the finish. "23 laps remain, so still a lot of racing here as we finished 44 of 68. Chris Harvey has an opportunity here to get up to second. Even Trevor Walker within range of the trio here. Chris Harvey making a move on the lap traffic of Jamison Thole. Looks like he's gonna get by the 26 truck here pretty easy. And Sestre also making a pass here, it looks like, on Luis Rodriguez. As these guys run side by side, it's only allowed for Trevor Walker to close the gap. And it looks like we got our caution finally. Figure out what happened. But this will change things up a little bit. We had about 40 laps consecutive with no caution. Until here, we'll see what brought out the caution. Must have been a caution for debris, as I don't see anyone on track that's stalled or damaged or spun out. So debris caution brings out the yellow for the third time here tonight. And that's going to allow us for the trucks to get bunched back up. Could see some exciting racing at the front of the field. The fastest lap has changed hands, as you can see. Trevor Walker recently has actually turned the fastest lap, besting the 90 of Tom Cording. This caution should help, giving Trevor Walker a shot at trying to catch back up to the lead here. So this was a blessing for Trevor Walker, but a nightmare for Tom Cording to get that caution. The lights are out on the pace truck as the rest of the field's going to have to try and get sorted here. 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th. What didn't happen is the lap traffic did not cycle back to the back of the field, so this causes commotion. Belafon stalls on track here, which is a glitch I've never seen happen in NR 2003 before. The truck simply gets stuck on the turtle curb. Alrighty, so here we go. After a little bit of shake up, it looks like some drivers lost some ground here on the caution. Chris Harvey all the way back to 6th there. All of these guys are lap down trucks. This is likely where we're going to see another caution come out. Green flag waves and they're back and going here at Sonoma. John Hagen dropped a lot of spots here, and now here we go with the carnage yet again. Even with all the chaos, the pace lights finally turn on. So it looks like the 29 of Nate Newman drives through Andrew Moger here, collecting Silas Huddleston, Lucas Holmes, Jacob Shangle, William Kinsella Jr. Oh, and the 49 of Chasey Plays runs into Luke. There's Lucas Holmes. And change of lead goes back to the 24 of Kyler Sestre. Now up to third is Trevor Walker, which is a very scary situation. 85 of Brian DeBlanc now up to fourth. Monty Shangle in fifth. Philip Leeds in sixth. Matthew Fastnot in seventh. Cash in eighth. Ninth place, Gavin Gray. 10th place, Tashi Gupta. 11th, Krista Cower. 12th, Dalton Scott. 13th, Alan Chavot. Roach. Rounding out your top 15. And Chris Harvey now back to 16th. So this is where it gets to be a nightmare on the restart. We've got to wave around wave number 89. Wave number 58. Wave number 48. Wave number 26. Why aren't they waving them around? There we go. Okay, so we should be good now, as I gave a wave around to all the lap traffic that was going to hold us up on the restart. So under caution for the fourth time tonight, as we now hit lap 50 of 68. Still 18 laps to go here tonight. Kyler Sestre has inherited the lead from Tom Cording. Tom Cording is dominated so far. But now you got to keep your eye on that 21 truck of Trevor Walker. And don't count out the 85 of Brian DeBlanc either. He's having a good run, good showing here tonight. It's anyone's guess how this restart's going to go. Once they double file up, Sestre might get snookered, and Tom Cording can steal the lead back. It seems to be the case. Usually it'll be the driver in second place that gets the better start, and that's how Sestre was able to steal the lead away from Tom Cording. and vice versa. Tom Cording has done it in previous restarts where he was starting second and came out on top. Lights are out on the pace truck, so it's just a short, brief moment here before they double file up, and we'll get back going with 18 laps to go. Definitely a little bit shook up from where the running order was all day. Walker, the highest he's been, as well as Monty Shangle, who's been able to move through the pack. Philip Leeds and Matthew Fastnot making some gains. Cash as well, now up to 8th. But even when you've got drivers that are moving through the field, that means you've got drivers dropping to the back. Chauvel's been steady, running about top 15 all day. Not bad. However, Chris Harvey was as high as 3rd at one point. Now he's running in 16th. So he's got his work cut out for him here, as he's going to have to try and make up a bunch of positions with only 18 laps to go. John Hagan as well was running towards the front of the field. Some unfortunate strategy calls have shuffled him to the back here. Tough break for Bella Fawn to have had a situation like she did in our 2003, had her truck get stalled on top of the turtle curbs here at Sonoma. Here we go, getting back for the restart. And it looks like Tom Cording is going to get the lead. Not without a fight, though, as you can see Sestre fighting back hard. But I think Sestre is now going to be under attack here by the 21 of Trevor Walker. Another clean restart has allowed us to get back to green flag racing. So the battle staying pretty tight at the front of the field here, as Tom Cording is not able to get away from Kyler Sestre and Trevor Walker. Walker keeping it interesting here, right on the bumper of the 24 truck. With only 11 laps to go, the laps slowly shrinking down to single digit here. And there's no telling if we do have to go to a green-white checkers, how many attempts it might take to actually get the white flag here tonight. Going through the field here, it doesn't look like much is changing. Chris Harvey has gained a spot back up to 15th here. So his season has been kind of a rough one. His finishes do not reflect how he's been running each week. Whereas he had a great run at Phoenix that turned into a 4th place finish. Tonight it looks like he had a 3rd place finish turned into a top 15. So getting those bugs worked out in the Honda, it's been something we've seen that the LFG team struggle with this season. Especially team owner Chaz Chadwick, boss man. He's had a rough start to the season as well, but we all know that the team is capable and a championship caliber team behind them. They can find their way to victory lane. There you go. Just like that, Chris Harvey makes up another spot there, getting by the 6 of Roach. Now back up to 14th, but only with 9 laps to go here. Every spot is going to be a huge help to get some of those points back. And in the meantime, seems that our leader's still staying really tight at the front here. Trevor Walker fighting alongside Sestre. Sestre stretching it back out, trying to catch up to the 90. And now down to 7 laps to go. Tom Courting is not showing to make any mistakes here at the front of the field. The other drivers would like to capitalize if the 90 somehow happens to make a mistake. Fortunately for us, this was not going to turn into a 3-hour race. The race actually began to become more civilized after we had our wrecking out of the way. Almost to the completion of this one now, and we only had 4 retirements. The 49 of Chasey Plays, the 36 of Lucas Holmes, the 3 of William Kinsella Jr., and the 94 of Paulo Ladino. Still have 34 trucks on the lead lap in the closing laps of this one, due in part to the wave around system to allow for cleaner restarts in NASCAR Racing 2003. Man, and did Trevor Walker go way wide there on that last turn, and you could see him almost go into the dirt. I don't know if that was a mistake. Seemed almost like a mistake on the 21. And catches back up to the back of the 24 here, so was able to recover pretty quickly. Perhaps the 21 is just trying to test all the different lines on the tracks here to find the fastest line possible. We can compare and contrast the lap turn by Trevor. Last lap was a 119.3. Pair that up with Tom Courting in the lead, who turned a 119.7. So I think Trevor Walker starts to get the long run speed going here. This is where the road course ringer mentality kicks in. All the knowledge that Trevor Walker has, it all starts to come together here right towards the end of the race. So don't count Trevor Walker out. Seems like he's got the faster pace right now, back in third. Speed's one thing, passing is a whole nother ball game. And Trevor has been proving that he can make passes here all night, especially in some very peculiar places that you wouldn't normally make a pass here around Sonoma. So we'll have to see if he dials it up again to try and make some of those bizarre passes. He was actually slower that lap, struggling to execute a pass like we're talking about. The fact that speed's one thing, passing, whole nother ballpark. And then, of course, there's always that possibility that we get another caution here tonight. Here's an opportunity for Trevor to make up a position here. He's right on the back bumper of the 24.
It's only going to be 3 laps to go this time by, as Tom Corning steering the ship at the front of the field. Might we see a Corning Brothers sweep? Or may we see a repeat winner in Trevor Walker? Or could we see first-time winner Kyler Sustre tonight? Monty Shangle in the picture here at the end. Not likely to be a factor, but you never know if someone runs out of gas, blows up, or takes each other out. He could be sitting in a good position there running fourth right at the front of the field here. Man, looks like John Hagan has made up some ground after getting sent back to about 23rd. He's worked his way up to 17th. Chris Harvey has worked his way up to 12th, making some passes through the field here. 2 more trucks side by side that will only help Harvey's case a little bit more. As you can see, Harvey giving Krista Cower some momentum here. Yeah, before you know it, that Honda team will be a well-oiled, race-winning machine. Now up to 11th. Two laps to go, and it's really Tom Corning's race to lose at the moment. It's always nice once you get to the end of a long run such as this, when you start seeing the other vehicles' tires wear out, the gas changes, the weight of the truck, so you start seeing speeds slightly pick up, limited to obviously how much tread is on the tires. I think you're seeing that more so in the back of the pack rather than at the front of the field here. But Harvey still has a shot here to get back up into the top 10, which would definitely feel better than a 15th. It's not anything close to where he was running at the start of the race, where likely he should have had a top 3 finish here today. But they'll take a top 10 any way they can dice it. Hagan, the same situation, had a top 10, even a top 5 throughout the day. Will be just impressed or glad to get into the top 15 right now. Lead sailing away. Doesn't look like there's going to be much drama here, as Tom Corning still leading the way. over Kyler Sestre and Trevor Walker. Crazy thing is, the only new winner that we've seen, at least career one win, was Andre Stefan at the beginning. Everyone else has been returning winners in the series. And mark that as career win number 2 for Tom Cording. Still got quite a few races to catch up to his brother Tim, but making sure to rack up the wins where he can. Chris Harvey's going to settle for an 11th here tonight. And John Hagan has to settle for a 16th. Oh, Chavot had a good run up to about top 15 at one point. Lost some ground, falling back to 19th. And here is the rest of the field as we skim through them. But congratulations to a Cording Brothers sweep, as Tim Cording won the race at Watkins Glen, and now Tom Cording wins the race here at Sonoma. I guess winning follows in the family name, as now we have two brothers locked into the finale combined championship at the end of the year. So that should be a fun little battle between the brothers. Just shy of 2 hours on the event here today. Hour and 50 minutes was the duration of the race. Brian DeBlanc settles for a top 5 finish, which is a great improvement over how things looked last season for him. Yet again, everyone, thanks for tuning in. It's late on the East Coast. It's only 10 o'clock here on the West Coast. Hopefully some of you can tune in and catch the replay tomorrow. It was a pretty lackluster event. We had some carnage early, had a little bit of carnage mid-race, and so yeah, unfortunately, John Hagan, you were running top 5, but green flag pit strategy and all that kind of screwed things up and moved you back to 16th. So I guess that's the that's road course racing in a nutshell. You'll have your ups and your downs, and sometimes your ups and downs all at once. I might have jinxed it by talking that you're looking to have a top 5 secured, running 5th the whole time, and then caution comes out, and I think pit stops happen and knocked you back to about 15th or 20th. So at least you did charge back up to 16th, because you were as far back as 25th at one point. So that marks the completion of 3 races. Congratulations to Tom Cording. And I'll get the points tallied up before I go to bed tonight, like I've been doing so far. And so that is a wrap for tonight from Sonoma for the Nasser USA Truck Series. We'll have at least another brief break here for Fair Weekend. So I'll be gone for a week, and we'll be back to racing in just a couple weeks' time. But until then, we'll get back to you, and hopefully y'all have a good night and excited to see you on the next stream. Have a good one. This is Jakester signing out.